Hello and thanks for watching. Welcome back to the Affordable Watch. Today we will have a look at the Hamilton Khaki Navy GMT rose gold version. I will leave the reference number in the description below in case you decide to check it out. On many websites you will notice that this watch is out of stock, however, there are still a few models out there and the price in the UK, for example, should be at around £1,000 or below. I personally enjoy a nice watch on a rubber strap, mainly because rubber straps seem to be the most comfortable. Obviously they do give a timepiece a slightly sportier look. However, in my opinion, with the Khaki Navy GMT, Hamilton managed to give this otherwise sporty watch somewhat of a classy look. The rose gold plated case and the contrasting colors used for the dial and markers surely play an important part. Some of the specs which are worth mentioning are the use of a sapphire crystal, 200 m water resistance, 42-hour power reserve and also 42mm diameter. The watch has quite a few crowns, all screw-in, which is an aspect that of course helps with a very good water resistance. Offering 200 meters, the Khaki Navy can easily be worn while diving, although the inner rotating bezel won't help much due to the lack of luminescent paint. There is lume, however, on the hands and markers. The inner rotating bezel will be handy for navigation or to set your home city for the GMT function. If you wish to see how you can use a watch's bezel to navigate, I've left a link to a prior video I did in the description below. As the Khaki Navy is powered by the ETA caliber 2893-1, there is a world time rotating disc and a quick set date function too. The other variations of the 2893 are slightly different. The Dash 2 has a centrally located GMT hand and also a quick set date at 3 o'clock, while the Dash 3 has a world time GMT disc and no date. The 21 jewel automatic movement can be seen through the transparent caseback. It has nice finishing and the Hamilton branded rotor. You can easily find online more information about all the technical aspects of the 2893-1, so instead of talking about those, I would like to focus on other aspects. I want us to look at this movement from a different angle, to talk about its history and an interesting relationship it has with one of watchmaking's most important innovations, the coaxial escapement. The entire 2893 range uses as a base caliber the 2892-A2, but obviously as an addition it offers the GMT complication. I know, nothing too interesting just yet, but what if I would tell you that the 2892-A2 was used as a base for another movement, one that will surely catch your interest, the Omega caliber 2500. Why was the caliber 2500 important? That's because it powered Omega's first watch to feature the coaxial escapement developed by the English master watchmaker George Daniels. The timepiece, a DeVille model, was launched at Baselworld in 1999, while the patent for the coaxial escapement was purchased by Omega from George Daniels in 1993. I am not pointing these things out to draw a direct comparison between the ETA 2893 and the Omega caliber 2500, nor to say that the two calibers should be seen as having similar technical capabilities. I am merely trying to give a bit of nuance to the concepts of generic Swiss movement and in-house movement, simply because the generic ones are often perceived as not being as good or as appealing as in-house. Needless to debate the idea of in-house, as we all know how brands use all sorts of methods to label their movements as in-house. I simply believe that it's interesting to know that sometimes generic and in-house movements have their histories intertwined, just like in our case here, where both the ETA 2893 and the Omega 2500 have a common predecessor, the ETA 2892-A2. It is known among watch enthusiasts that the ETA 2892 is one of the most reliable movements, so it's no surprise that Omega and other brands too have been using it as a reference for their in-house movements. Omega has of course continued to evolve their calibers beyond the 2500 model, with the coaxial escapement remaining a staple of the Omega movements. Why is the coaxial escapement so special? Because it is not based on a sliding movement, which causes friction in the case of the lever escapement. The coaxial uses more of a push rather than a sliding movement. This approach increases the service life of the components. I've recently attended an event in London, organized by Watchfinder, where Roger Smith, one of the best watchmakers in the world and George Daniels' apprentice, shared some very interesting thoughts. Most notably, when asked by a member of the audience what is the biggest technical challenge that he and his team are currently working on overcoming, Roger Smith referred to the elimination of some or all lubricant. He also remarked how it is believed that a movement can be as good as the lubricant used with it, and therefore emphasizing that a movement that requires less or no lubrication at all would generate very little stress on its components. So, as you can see, the journey started by Josh Daniels continues even today, and I believe that Omega's decision back in 1999 to use Daniels' invention in conjunction with the caliber 2500 says a lot about the ETA 2A92, upon which this is based, and also about its other descendant, the ETA 2A93, which we can find in this Hamilton. Hopefully, this video will encourage at least some people to look with more enthusiasm at generic movements. I certainly do. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Until next time.